I decided to come to GameWays because I live in the city, and that's all I've lived my whole life. But I've always wanted to be outdoors, but not just on safari, like completely outdoors and experiencing nature. And I just thought it was interesting how game farms worked, and I've never been, you don't learn about it in school, and I like the practicality of it, the physical work. So I thought I would come to GameWays to be in the bush and just enjoy nature and animals. GameWays definitely met my expectations and beyond. As a city person, I didn't know much about the bush, and I honestly thought it was just going to be a safari, but it was more. I learned more here than I would have expected to. Before I came to GameWays, I was quite nervous about snakes. I thought they were satanic. I didn't like them. And then when we did when the snake handler came and explained how all these myths that we have in our head about snakes and how wrong we actually are, and holding them in our hands and seeing that they're soft, and it changed my whole perspective on snakes. They chilled now. I don't have any fear, where before it was worse than spiders, which is big. So one night we were unexpectedly dropped off in the middle of the bush and told to walk 70 meters in. And the first 20 meters I was quite scared, just to step on a snake and then be bitten, or a scorpion would sting me. But once you get in and you sit down and you actually start being present in the bush, it's like the whole world just falls apart, and you're just in nature, and you pick up all the little noises of the birds and the beetles, and it's the most peaceful thing I've ever experienced. On the second day we did first aid and firefighting. Instead of it being a class on first aid, it was we were told about the wounds and how to treat them, and the depth, and the how to handle someone with different types of fractures and all that. But then we actually got to the people were chosen to be injured victims, injured by wildebeest that had come onto where the people were working, and then we had to rush in and help them. And instead of us just learning about it in our heads, we actually got to hold them and turn them over and put their wounds together and wrap them up. And it's more impactful to do something, because you learn actually what a patient feels like and where they might be injured, than imagining, okay, well, they'll be injured here, so I'll just do this. Yeah, I really enjoyed that. Okay, so on Wednesday we went to the wild vet, and we actually got to see all the different medications that the vet puts into the buck to keep them healthy. And it was interesting to see how they actually shoot the buck, and the procedure that they take to get it onto the bucky, to take the DNA samples, to make sure that it's the right buck and all that, and then to let it go so that it can go back to the herd. A wild vet plays a big role in the health of the buck, and that is what runs the farm, and it was really cool to see. On the Thursday we went on the helicopter ride. It's my first time on the chopper, and it was out of this world. You go up, and it's like gravity just disappears. You're just floating in the air, and then you go around the whole farm, and we saw the zebra, we saw the buffalo, we saw the roy buck and the water buck, and it was really cool to be able to see everything so fast, instead of driving and having to be careful and going close to the animal. You got to see how they run, and how big the herds actually are, and how they jump through the trees, and yeah, I really enjoyed that. At first I thought it was a little bit scary, but I think it added to the overall experience. It made you feel like you were outside with the animals, like there was nothing separating you from them, which was really cool. On Thursday we made potjie course, and it was the first potjie course that I've ever made, and it was really cool because whenever I go to my dad, there's always a potjie course, and I love poke course, so it was really cool to see how to actually make it yourself and how to throw everything in, and then and how everything cooks together with the meat. And it was like, what was cool about it was like Bush MasterChef. Like the whole thing, we had to make the food and it had to be right, and then we had to decorate the tables and add our own decorations. Yeah, it was a really good night. The culture night was cool because it's like the team really comes together, and you just everybody pushes in their own energy, and that's what gives the play the spark, and it makes it funny, and it's like the feeling of GameWay come to life, if I can put it that way. What was surprising to me was how friendly and respectful the other students at the GameWay course was. Just coming from the city life and into the bush, here it's all what you can bring to the team and your contribution, and it comes back as well. We help each other and we support each other, and GameWays is about teamwork. That's what makes it GameWays. I would definitely recommend other people to come to GameWays, especially if you live in the city, because it gives you a whole new perspective on life and nature and animals. Instead of watching it on the TV screen, you can actually be there, which is the best. You can't feel that on the TV, you have to go there and experience it.